What is up, my bodyweight warriors, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking all about the rotator cuff, how you can effectively hit all of those different muscles in it, specifically looking at its application to bodyweight training and calisthenics / handstands as well. We all love a bit of handstands. Let's just jump straight into it. So this video definitely comes from mistakes that I've made and lessons that I've learned, having had a variety of injuries over the years in training, and certainly made mistakes when it comes to rotator cuff training. Torn my supraspinatus, the most commonly injured rotator cuff muscle, about a year and a half ago, as well as having various other injuries such as bicep tendonitis, all linked to that rotator cuff weakness, and successfully rehabbed it and become stronger in the process. I feel like having a good plan of action when it comes to the rotator cuff for me has definitely been a game changer. But to understand how to effectively train the rotator cuff, we need to understand what exactly it is made up of, and that is the supraspinatus, the infraspinatus, teres minor, and the subscapularis. Today I'm going to share with you 4 exercises which are going to help cover all of those different muscles, and specifically how I'd recommend performing them. So let's jump straight into it. First of all, let's look at the supraspinatus. This is, again, as I said, one of the most commonly injured rotator cuff muscles. It's going to be used to partly aid in abducting the arm, so it's just lifting it up to the side, but it's also an important muscle for anything overhead. So that's going to come down to your standard military press, or for us with bodyweight training, things like the handstand push-up, etc. So my personal favorite one for the supraspinatus is going to be the lateral raise. The main reason I like this, especially when specifically looking at bodyweight and calisthenics training, is that we haven't got anything like this movement in bodyweight training. It is a weighted movement. There isn't anything we can kind of replace and swap it in for, unlike a lot of things, which is why I think it really does have a place in helping to keep the shoulders healthy for calisthenics training. The lateral raise can be performed in a variety of ways. Simply, your standard one where it's directly out to the side. I actually personally quite like it performed in the scapular plane. So this is when it's not to the side directly, but actually slightly in front of the body, performing the lateral raise. And it can also be performed with the arms in an L, or sort of flex position. Again, performing the same lateral raise, just the arms are in a slightly different place, and this will place a slightly different emphasis to the others. When it comes to the lateral raise, I personally prefer to use a slightly more moderate weight and a generally slow tempo. So for this, we choose some higher reps, maybe 8, 10 to 15 repetitions, and we perform it with a tempo where we pause in that top position and a nice slow negative on the way down. The next one, which is going to be the infraspinatus, but I'm also going to group that in with the teres minor, because these two are kind of the chief muscles when it comes to the external rotation of the arm. But I'm going to give you 2 different exercises to hit both of them. The first exercise is what I would consider the gold standard when it comes to the rotator cuff training, and that is the Cuban rotation. This one is going to help generally hit everything in one exercise. It is a fantastic exercise. And not only that, it's also going to help increase your flexibility in external rotation of the shoulder joint. The Cuban rotation is one of those ones that's actually going to really assist with balancing out the shoulders and also getting stronger in things like the handstand push-up and the planche. It's a really crucial movement for those. This one can be performed with 2 arms at one time, using like a straight bar, standing, sitting up, however you want to perform it. It can also be performed in my personal favorite way, which is single arm Cuban rotation. So this is when, for example, we'd sit on the floor, form a Cuban rotation in this position. Both essentially do the same thing, it's just kind of personal preference. Unlike the supraspinatus, you can go a little bit heavier with this one and you can load it up, but I would do so progressively as you feel comfortable, as you feel stronger in that position. And again, we want to take a nice slow tempo, so sort of thinking 3 or 4 seconds on the negative down. The second exercise for this kind of pairing is more focused around the infraspinatus, and that is its role in horizontal abduction. This one, again, is something that isn't necessarily going to be hit too hard when it comes to bodyweight training, but it's something that's commonly used in weight training, and I think still has a place and should be applied, especially for bodyweight athletes. So again, you can perform this one simply lying face down. You could lie on a bench, again in the same manner as the lateral raise, at a moderate weight, a slightly higher rep range, 8, 10, 15 reps, and again, having like a nice pause in that top position, slow negative back down. You can also perform this one with a resistance band pretty effectively as well. The fourth and final exercise is going to be for the subscapularis, and this one I don't think you probably have seen before. Now, the subscapularis actually is going to be pretty worked just from general day-to-day training because it does the opposite action to the rest of the rotator cuffs. It generally gets worked when we're doing things like dips, push-ups, all of that sort of stuff is going to help and it's going to involve the subscapularis. So it's already going to be relatively strong. However, there is a way in which we can kind of incorporate it and train it into our pulling work with a little bit of specificity. And that is by doing something called the subscapularis pull-up or the lean back pull-up. Now to do this one, you're going to go up, do a normal pull-up, but when you get to the top, what you're going to do is you're going to start moving the shoulders backwards as far as they can as you control the negative. So while maintaining a straight body, instead of moving the body vertically, you're going to try and lift the body to a more horizontal position as you perform the negative. This is actually a great way to, just alternate and mix up your chin up or pull up training, but it's also going to have a little bit of carryover to the front lever. So if you want to get like a double bang for your buck, doing this exercise kind of improves both of those end goals. The main reason I like this exercise in particular is it's not an isolation exercise for the subscapularis, but I don't think there's necessarily a need for it. But it's a nice way of incorporating the recruitment of that muscle into a pulling pattern to kind of balance things out a bit. This one can kind of be done at a little bit of a higher intensity or more just dependent on where your pull-up strength is, but it's certainly an interesting one to include if you want to mix up your training. But that's basically it for this week, guys. Those are kind of my 4 top ones when it comes to the rotator cuff, but that's just a drop in the ocean when it comes to overall training for the rotator cuff. If you do want some more exercises or if you want some more direction of how to put it into a program, then you can go over to my app Tribe, in which is where I'm putting all of my programs that I'm developing at the moment. We have programs for beginners developing the fundamentals, we have programs for people developing the planche and the front lever, for wanting to gain mass, and we've just recently released a whole host of flexibility programs to develop your hamstrings, your pancake middle splits, and also the front splits, as well as just general full body flexibility as well. And we add new content to the app every single month. So if you want to join that one, I'll link that one in the description down below. Apart from that, if you have any questions or comments about today's video, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on it. Just leave a comment in the comments section down below. Right next to it is that like button if you want to just help support the channel, show that you're enjoying this sort of content. And if you just want to stay around and join the Bodyweight Warrior Tribe for all the future videos on this channel, just tap that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. But that has basically been it for this week, guys. I'll catch you in the next episode. Have a strong week and peace.